Every business book, every productivity guru, every LinkedIn post, they will all say the same thing. Collaborate more, great ideas come from great teams. But what if I told you that some of the most successful creative works in history, the theory of gravity, Harry Potter, the personal computer, all came from people working alone. And not just that, there's 40 years of research proving that one of the most popular creativity techniques, one you've definitely used, actually makes you less creative. If you're someone who likes to work alone, but people keep telling you you need more accountability, you need more community, you need to collaborate more, this video is going to flip this on its head, because your instinct to work alone might be one of the most valuable things about you. And by the end of this video, you know exactly how to use it. Before we get into the evidence, I want you to see how deep this goes, because the idea that collaboration is good isn't just popular advice. It has almost become a universal law at this point. In the workplace, open space offices tore down every wall so people can bounce ideas off each other. We're now stuck in endless meetings that could have been an email, brainstorming sessions where the loudest voice actually wins, and team building exercises nobody asked for. We've been hearing the same thing our whole lives. If you're struggling, the answer is more people. If you're stuck, the answer is more collaboration. And if you prefer working alone, something is wrong with you. The assumption that creativity is some sort of team sport is so widely spread that no one even questioned it. But in 1975, a shy engineer in California accidentally proved this wrong and created the most valuable company on earth in the process. In 1975, about 30 engineers started meeting in a garage in Menlo Park, California. They called themselves the Homebrew Computer Club, and they wanted to make computers small enough for regular people to own. One of them was a 24-year-old Steve Wozniak. He had been obsessed with electronics ever since he was 3 years old. His dream was to build a personal computer. And that night at the club, they talked about a new machine called the Altair 8800 that suggested the personal computer might actually be possible. Wozniak was excited, but he didn't build anything at the club or collaborate with someone there. In fact, he was too shy to even speak. He went home, sat at his desk, and sketched out his first personal computer. 3 months later, he had a working prototype. 10 months after that, Apple Computer was born. He later wrote that most of the engineers and designers he knew all work the same way. They prefer to work alone. Here is what matters about this story. The club gave Wozniak the spark, but the computer was built in solitude. Now, you could argue that's just one person, one company, one lucky introvert. So let's look at what 40 years of research actually says. I want to talk about a technique that you've used probably hundreds of times. You've used it at school, you've used it at work, you've probably even used it this week. It was invented in the 1940s and it spread across every part of this world. But nobody ever stopped to ask whether it actually works. It's called brainstorming. An advertising executive called Alex Osborne came up with it sometime in 1948. It follows 4 simple rules. Don't criticize, go wild, quantity matters, and bounce ideas off each other. On paper, it almost sounds genius. Remove judgment, let creativity flow, and the group will produce much more than the individual ever could. Except that's not what happens. Not even close. When researchers tested brainstorming, and they did that for over 4 decades, starting in 1960, they found the same thing every single time. Group brainstorming consistently produced fewer ideas with lower quality than the same individuals working independently. Every time for 40 years across dozens of studies. The result never changed. There are 2 main reasons for that. Number 1, only one person can speak at a time. While you're waiting, your idea is fading. Your brain struggles to hold a thought and listen simultaneously. So the thought actually dies before it ever leaves your mouth. The second reason is self-censorship. Even when they tell you there is no judgment, your brain doesn't believe it at all. The strange idea, the bold one, the idea that could actually make a difference, this is the one you don't say out loud. Here's a quick test. Think about the last group brainstorming session you were in. Now think about the ideas you had afterwards. In the shower, when you were walking, which ones were better? I think you already know the answer. The most popular creativity technique in the world actually makes you less creative. And that's not just my opinion. That's 4 decades of research. But maybe you're thinking, fine, brainstorming doesn't work. But still, the best performers in the world have these huge teams around them. Actually, no. And the research on that is even more interesting. Isaac Newton developed calculus and his theory of gravity while isolated during the plague. He was alone for nearly 2 years, just him and his notebooks. It turned out to be the most productive period of his life. Albert Einstein worked out special relativity as a patent clerk. He wasn't on a research team. He was sitting alone, scribbling between assignments, thinking about light. J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter in Edinburgh cafes as a single mother. No co-author, no feedback circle, just her and the story. You see this pattern everywhere. It's not coincidence. A psychologist named Anders Ericsson spent his career researching what separates elite performers from everyone else. The best musicians, chess players, or athletes. You've probably heard about his work from the 10,000 hour rule. But what most people miss is that it wasn't just about the hours. The single biggest predictor of reaching the top was practicing in solitude. Deliberate practice in solitude. The research says it, history says it, your own personal experience probably says it. The work that matters the most happens in solitude. But this is where people make a mistake, especially people like us with diverse interests and skills. If you're anything like me, you might hear all of this and say, great, I would just disappear and work alone forever. But that's not the lesson here. And getting this wrong is the reason why, for many people after watching a video like this, nothing really changes in their life. Wozniak didn't succeed in isolation. He succeeded because he got the balance right. He showed up at the club, he absorbed, then he left, went home, sat alone, and built something. The problem for us isn't that we never collaborate, but that we collaborate too much. We go from the group chat to the online call to the brainstorming session, and at the end of the day we have shipped 0 ideas, but we talked about a lot of them. So here's what I started doing, and it changed everything. Think of this process as 3 phases. Absorb, isolate, create. Absorb is where you gather input. Conversations, content, communities. But you need to set a boundary on it. This phase is short, intentional, and time-boxed. Isolate is where you protect deep work. Long blocks, no interruptions, no quick questions. This is the phase where everything we talked about today, the deliberate practice, actually happens. Most people don't protect this phase long enough for it to matter. Create is where you ship. A project, a video, an essay. It has to leave your head and enter the world. That's the test. If nothing ships, you haven't created. You've just absorbed with extra steps. Look, your instinct to work alone isn't wrong. It's the same instinct that built Apple. It gave us theory of gravity. It produced Harry Potter. It's the pattern behind every breakthrough we talked about. Absorb briefly, isolate deeply, and then create something real. Oh, and one final thing. Never apologize for how your brain works. If you're an introvert, a self-learner, or someone who's not meant to do one thing, subscribe to this channel.